Alright, so for this question, it wants us to start with the graph of a basic function and graph the following function using the techniques of shifting. Alright, so you can make the graph larger. I do find that helps. Alright, so we're going to put a parabola. Right, and so to start a parabola, you'll click here and it just automatically draws it. So we know the origin is right there. Now, this parabola is x squared minus 6. The minus 6 occurring after the square means that it moves it vertically down 6. Now just FYI, if it's x minus 6 parentheses squared, then we're talking horizontal. But we're going to shift it down, and you can shift it this way, or I think you can actually drag it, but and you can reflect it if it needs to be reflected. This one's not reflected. But anyway, we move it down 6 and save it. And we can check that answer, and that's correct. All right, so the domain, now the domain of a parabola is the x values. Now as we see, this thing goes, I mean, if it went on, if we had it unlimited view of this graph, it would go forever in the x direction. In other words, you can put any number in here for x that you want, positive or negative. It's totally possible. So we would say here that this is going to be negative, and we use infinity here, comma, infinity. All right, so we can go from negative infinity to infinity. Now the range, on the other hand, though, is restricted to possible y values. We can get y values up here. You see the function is all these numbers above negative 6, but there's no values of this function that will ever be lower than negative 6. So we say we're going to go from negative 6 to infinity, and in this case, we can actually get exactly to negative 6. So remember, with interval notation, when we can be equal to something, we use a square brace, and we say negative 6, and then comma, infinity. And infinities, by the way, always use the curved parentheses. And so that explains the domain and the range. And again, this negative 6 just shows that it's a vertical shift.